It's back.
Did it start a new live?
No, I don't know.
Never.
Let's check.
Never really need to get that.
I think we're back live, guys. Let us know.
New live.
New live on everything?
I don't know. I'm gonna stop doing Twitter. It's so annoying.
Might have to go just to YouTube.
Unless you get that other. Let me see. No, it's a new live though. It sets a new live now. We gotta. I don't know why it wasn't doing that before.
Yeah. Do an intro.
I think the restream. I think you got to set it up new every time because before it was going back to the old live.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's a new live stream. I don't know what happened there, so share this stream. We're going to see if we can talk to some of the hostage families. Worst case scenario, it's just going to be for the report. How you doing, guys? Is there someone from the hostage families that we can talk to? How you doing? Australia. That's the one. Are you one of the hostage families? No.
I'm one of the hostages families forum. Let me think who's going.
Somebody preferably if they speak decent English,
Decent English.
because my Hebrew sucks.
I'll try to find someone in English. It's a problem.
Or if you're there to translate, or somebody's can translate.
So guys, if the live went off, we're just back on the live now. If you're joining in, we just had a protest in front of the residence of the PM here in Jerusalem, and there's some hostage families camping out here.
Is the residence in there?
Is an anti-government,
Up there.
in somewhat of an anti-war protest that's
Oh,
going
right
on.
here on the left.
Yeah.
No. Oh, they're tiny window. So that's the residence. Okay. So just so you get an idea,
Yep.
that's the residence up there.
Okay.
That building there that you see there. Oh,
She doesn't speak English. I'll translate.
you translate. Okay.
Yeah, Tammy Baruch. She's the mother of Sar Baruch. Her son was kidnapped alive and killed while being in captivity in Gaza. Okay?
So why are you here? Why are you camping out here?
למה את פה?
סער נרצח ויש חטופים שהם חיים, חייבים להציל אותם.
My son was kidnapped and murdered in Gaza, but there is hostages who are alive and we have to save them.
So how will this save them?
איך הפעולה הזאת תעזור להציל אותם?
הם צריכים לשמוע שאנחנו זועקים, שכולנו, עם האנשים פה, כולנו צריך בעד להחזיר את כולם.
They have to hear, she refers to Prime Minister and his wife who lives here, they have to hear that everybody wants them back and everybody is shouting all over Israel and we want them back home, so they have to hear that.
So I think a lot of people around the world would agree that they want them home, but I think this protest is calling for an end to the war now. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
So how do you think ending the war now will bring them back? Like, will Hamas just give the hostages back if the war ends today?
הוא אומר שאנשים בכל העולם רוצים את החטופים בבית, אבל ההפגנה פה קוראת גם לסיום המלחמה. האם אנחנו חושבים שאם נסיים עכשיו את המלחמה, אז חמאס פשוט יחזיר לנו את החטופים?
צריך לעשות הסכם שהוא יחזיר את החטופים, בסוף הוא יחזיר אותם. לפני שהם ימותו שם. מה זה יעזור לו שהם ימותו שם? אנחנו צריכים להציל אותם.
Hamas wants to end the war and the hostages are there. It doesn't help them to keep the hostages back in Gaza. if there will be an agreement that from one hand the war will stop and from the other hand they'll bring the hostages, it's going to be good for everybody.
צריך להחזיר גם את הבן שלי.
They should bring back also her son, his remains. She wants a proper burial in Israel. So it's not only the living ones, she wants the dead one also.
עידן, הבן השני שלי, נרצח בבארי.
Her other son, Idan, was murdered in Be'eri while the October 7th massacre. She lost two sons in this day. One was murdered and the other one was kidnapped alive, and then he was murdered there.
באותו היום גם אמא שלי נרצחה.
And in the same day, her mother was murdered also,
בעזרת גרזן.
with an axe.
Tell her I'm sorry. But my question is, can Hamas remain in power after that? After killing 3 members of her family and everything that they did? If ending the war now means Hamas can stay in power, is she okay with that?
הוא אומר שאם המלחמה נגמרת עכשיו, זה אומר שחמאס נשאר שם בשליטה בעזה. האם את בסדר עם זה?
צריך להחליף את השלטון. עזה יכולה להישאר, אבל לא עם החמאס, לא עם מי שהרג את המשפחה שלי.
She has nothing against Gaza and the people in Gaza, and they should have their rest. But Hamas cannot stay in power and in ruling the people of Gaza, but because of what they did. But the war has to end, and everybody has to finish all this thing.
Yes.
האחים שלי הסיעו ילדים עזתים לבתי חולים.
She said that before the war, her brothers they used to drive sick Palestinian people, children, to the hospitals in Israel. They were peacemakers. They were helping the Palestinians in Gaza.
So this is where I'm wondering, because her story is sympathetic and you know, you can't help but, you know, the hairs on my arms are standing. But I just don't understand. If you end the war, Hamas doesn't agree to put down their arms. They don't agree to give up power, and they're not agreeing to release the hostages. So I'm not sure how ending the war would achieve that. It feels like you want both things.
הוא אומר שזה לא הולך ביחד, לדעתו. הנושא הזה של אם אנחנו נעשה עכשיו הסכם עם חמאס ונחזיר את החטופים ונסיים את המלחמה, אז הם יישארו. אז מה קורה? תדברי על נושא שההסכם כולל בעצם את ההסדרה של כל הדברים האלה. זה חלק מההסדרה.
ההסכם ייתן מענה גם למה שקורה בעזה, ובעצם זה חלק מההסדר. שמה שקורה שם למה שיקרה פה. אנחנו לא יכולים, מתישהו חייב להיות איזשהו הסכם. אי אפשר להיות במלחמה לנצח. במלחמה מתישהו חייבת להיפסק. אז היא יכולה להיפסק עם 800 חיילים שנרצחו, והיא יכולה להיפסק שעוד חיילים יהרגו ועוד חטופים יהרגו. יכולים להרג עוד חטופים.
The agreement should include all of this stuff. This is what they're talking about putting the weapons down and who is going to rule Gaza and release the hostages and ending the war. This is what the agreement has to do. This war cannot last forever. We already lost 900 soldiers and they lost. So this cannot go on forever. It has to stop, and it will be stopped only by agreement.
But isn't that what the government has said from the beginning? If Hamas puts down its arms and gives the hostages back, the war will end? Oh, they didn't agree that? What do you think the government, because that they've always said, for us, they've always said that there's two things, as well as Donald Trump. Hamas needs to lay down its arms and the hostages have to be released, and then the war's over. But you don't believe, or you don't think that that's what they've really said?
הוא אומר שבעצם זה מה שכלפי חוץ לפחות בחול אומרים, שיש שני תנאים. חמאס צריך להניח את הנשק שלו וצריך לשחרר את החטופים, ואז המלחמה תיגמר. זאת אומרת, זה בעצם מה שהממשלה אומרת, אז למה אנחנו אומרים שזה לא ככה?
לא, זה חייב להיות ככה. זה חייב להיות ככה של להפסיק את המלחמה ולהחזיר את החטופים. זה מה שחייב להיות. בהתחלה הממשלה שלנו לא עשתה הכל כדי להחזיר את החטופים, וגם עכשיו הם לא עושים הכל. אנחנו מבקשים ממנו שיעשה הכל כדי להחזיר את החטופים שלנו. יש חטופים שחיים, שחייבים לחזור בחיים, ויש חטופים חללים שחייבים לחזור לקבורה. אני רוצה שהם יקברו אחד ליד השני.
She says, yes, of course it has to be, but we feel that the government doesn't do enough and it doesn't do everything that it's in its power to do so. That there is hostages alive there and there are hostages who are dead there and the boat has to come back and the government doesn't do enough to get to this agreement, and in the beginning of the war he didn't do that. There was a chance to do that, but he Prime Minister Netanyahu did not achieve that and did not pursue this effort to do that.
Why doesn't, so if it's just about those two things, can't Hamas just do it? Can't Hamas just...
שנמצא במנהרות בח'אן יונס. הבקבוק התקבל בתחילת 2024. תסתכלו מה נשאר לי מהילד שלי. הבקבוק היה מלא כמעט עד הסוף.
That what was left from her child. It was all full, but now it's reducing by the time. This is the remains that I have from my son who was held in Gaza. Her son is alive.
Her son's a hostage.
Yeah.
אני מתריעה שאם הבקבוק הזה יתאדה בו השתן של מתן ומתן לא יגיע עם עוד 47 חטופים וחטופה, המלחמה שלנו רק תחריף. הנה בבקשה ראש הממשלה, הגברת שרה, זה מה שיש לי ממתן צנגאוקר, זה מה
So this is the
שקיבלתי
mother
מהמודיעין.
of a hostage that's
שתן של
alive. She
מתן.
doesn't want to talk to the media.
במקום לקבל את הילד שלי בעסקה, במקום לסכן
How many
חיילים,
hostage families
במקום
are here?
לסכן מילואימניקים, במקום לסיים את המלחמה ולאפשר לעם שלם
Oh,
להשתקם,
they're also hostage families.
להיבנות מחדש,
How many of them are alive?
לשקם את הגוף והנפש.
Both of
זה
them
מה
alive.
שמדינת
Her
ישראל
father is dead.
הביאה לי
Her son is
מהשבי
alive, and the one we're
מהמנהרות
talking
בח'אן
to,
יונס.
her son is dead.
שתן של מתן. זה מה שיש לי מהילד הבכור שלי,
20 alive,
שנחטף ב7 באוקטובר.
26 dead, and another 2 about with a big question about their lives.
של ראש ממשלה מפקיר ומקריב. זה מה שיש לי מהילד שלי.
Would any of you be willing
אני
to
לא
talk to us?
אסתפק בבקבוק שתן הזה.
Speak English? Can we talk to
אני רוצה לחזק את הילד שלי.
Australia?
Australia.
I understand a little bit of Hebrew, but it's
אני
it's
רוצה
an English
לראות
audience.
אותו
Better in Hebrew.
לחופה.
My audience is in there. So, is this your son?
Yes.
What's his name? Tell us about him.
His name is Matan Angrest. Matan is a soldier. In 7th of October, he been near Nahal Oz, and he tried to stop the attack with his team, 4 person in the tank. Try to stop the attack between Gaza border and the base. They saved many people that live today. Matan kidnapped all his team, murdered, and he kidnapped after a very brutality lynch to Gaza. We know that he is alive today, but they did him a very bad and difficult investigation with electricity power supply. And we are worried.
Torture. You're saying they've tortured him?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Hostages that been with him told us and we know that because he is the soldier, his condition very bad. And we try to do everything to release him and the other brothers, all the 48, all their lives. We want to give him, to bring them home on the leg, and all the deaths to burial.
So what are you guys calling for here? Are you camping here as part of this?
Yeah, we placed near Prime Minister house and asked him to make a complete deal. Stop the war. We know that it could be only with the stop the war and put on the table a complete deal that released all of them. We know that only with complete deal we can release them.
So in the deal, what does the deal have to look like for you? Do you believe Hamas can stay in power or not?
We believe at the first we must release them. After that we will think. We know, every citizen in Israel, we know that Hamas is terrorist. They are terrorists, and all over the world they know it. At the first, we need to save a life, and we must to release the hostages. This is more important. After that, the hostages has no time.
So if the deal means Hamas gets to stay in power, you think it's still a deal you should take?
We need to give them everything to release the hostages, and after that to think what to do.
Are you not worried that if they do that and they end up staying in power, that they can commit atrocities like this again in the future?
We are not worried. We are very difficult. I think our army, we know them. We know that we are very hard, and we must release them, because if not, it will be very bad, and Israel not be the same Israel the day after.
Now, so do you believe if Hamas? So do you believe if Israel says we will leave Gaza now, that Hamas will release all the hostages?
I believe that we must to stop the war, make a complete deal, and after that to think what to do. At the first.
But do you believe Hamas will agree to release them all?
I don't know. I know only to release the hostages.
Okay, but if you want the government to make a deal with them, and what if they're not? What if Hamas doesn't agree? What if Hamas is the one that's really stopping any deal from coming through?
The day after, they will be alive. The Hamas.
No, but I mean, like, what if they just don't want to release the hostages unless, I don't know, some outrageous...
Hamas know that if they will not release the hostages, all of them will die. We will continue the war after we finish the job.
Around the world, when we see in our media, they portray your protests, the protests against the government, as essentially a justification for their anti-Israel. There's many anti-Israel protests around the world at the moment, and they point to your protests here in Israel, and they say, look, it's not just us. We don't just hate Israel and Jews. Look, even the families of hostages are the ones protesting just like us. Do you agree with them, or do you love Israel?
We must remember what happened in the 7th of October. Not Israel start the brutality attack. We need to remember it, and all the world must to know it and to against it.
What would you say to anti-Israel protesters who point to you and say, look, we're not the only ones protesting Israel. Even in Israel, the hostage families are protesting against Israel.
Hostages family want only to stop the war and release all of them. We are not politics. We want only stop and release them. That's all.
But you guys love Israel. You support Israel, and you support Israel's right to exist, because they don't support
We
Israel.
are Israel. We like our country. All of us is soldiers, and like it very much. And remember the 7th of October. We couldn't. We must remember it.
What kind of deal do you think Hamas would agree on to release
I
all the
don't know.
hostages?
I'm not in the negotiation team, but I know that we can do something, and they agree about something.
Why do you think Bibi's not getting a deal?
I don't know. I'm not in the
Do
negotiation.
you think that he's trying not to get a deal, or he just doesn't believe that there's a deal on the table that Hamas will agree to that's good enough?
I really don't know.
How long are you going to stay here?
Until my son come back to Israel.
You're going to stay here as long as it takes.
Yes.
Have the police okayed you guys staying here?
Yes. The condition of my son in Gaza tunnels, very bad. They have no place to sleep or something. They are sleeping in the floor.
I can't imagine what you're going through. I got kids, and the last 2 years must have been absolute hell for you.
It's crazy.
So I guess people would watch this and people will think, is the position practical or emotional? Is it that you've got your son kidnapped, and I imagine that the only thing you've thought about for 2 years is your son, and all the memories you've ever had with your son and what he's going through now. So are you here?
It's crazy.
So is it?
We think only good news, and we think about the day that Matan will release and arrive to Kiryat Bialik. We live in Kiryat Bialik, and arrive to Kiryat Bialik and to Israel and the celebration. That's all.
I hope that
about
for
the
you.
investigation and all of this. If we are sitting and thinking about this, we will be crazy.
No. But what I'm asking is it an emotion? Is everything guided by the emotion of the hardship, which obviously it must be, or is it? Have you thought practically how could this deal happen in real life?
I don't know.
You don't know. So,
No.
Yeah. Thank you
We
so
have
much.
the government, we have the negotiation team.
Look, I pray your son gets out and alive,
thank you very
and I think people around the world that don't just hate Jews and hate Israel
No.
sympathize
Absolutely
with
no.
you.
The day after we want a peace with all over the world. We don't want a war, but must to be safety in Israel.
God
Thank
bless.
you very much.
There you have it. That's a family of hostages. You can see they're saying they're going to camp here for as long as it takes until the war ends. This protest was essentially sparked from the new offensive into Gaza City, which is supposed to be the final offensive. I'm not sure the practicality of it. I guess I don't really hear what kind of deal they believe. You can understand, you can sympathise with the fact that people here, families of hostages, just want their family members back. If it was you or I, that's the first thing we would think of. That's the first thing we would want. On a practical level, does that mean allowing Hamas to stay in power? I guess it would have to, because there would be no deal that Hamas at this point would agree on that would mean releasing the hostages and giving up their arms. But I think maybe we can go back to the protest. Are there other English speakers that are hostage families?
Many.
There's six families here now. Is that right? Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, that.
עדי, איילת, רוצה להתראיין?
English?
Yes, but it's 10 p.m. at night.
Don't worry, I'm still jet lagged, so I can hardly speak
can't
English. The jet lag Melbourne. Were you? No. We've got another one.
I feel like I need a moment with the English and everything.
No, it's a don't worry. I'll come this way. Yeah.
So can it be short? You think?
Sure. Tell me about your family member. Who is it? And
Can I hold it? You want to hold it?
it's usually my job, but
My name is Ayelet Goldin. I'm the older sister of Hadar Goldin, Lieutenant Hadar Goldin, that was killed and kidnapped during Protective Edge, during the ceasefire that the Hamas broke during Protective Edge 11 years ago almost. For 11 years we're fighting to bring him back. And for 11 years the government had so many opportunities and neglected and gave the Hamas money and made them bigger and stronger and left Hadar there. And I'm still here, I'm still fighting together with all the families from October 7. We became, this family, and we're fighting for our brothers, for our children, we're fighting for the next generation, for my husband and my son and my daughter that are now in the army, now in reserve. They look at us and they see themselves. They don't see only the hostages that they're fighting for, but they're understanding that we're fighting for the values of the state of Israel that leaves no one behind. And this is our fight.
when you say the government was funding Hamas, you mean when they were passing through the Qatari money, and is that what you're talking about?
Everything. Listen, we've been here for 10 years through the Corona, through agreements, through Shomer Chomot. How do you call Shomer Chomot in English? All the operations that were on the way. During, when our government just gave suitcases of money to the Hamas. And through that, we always called and we always said that we need to bring the hostages back first, before we give. Humanitarian towards humanitarian, and Hadar never came.
So you mean, because a lot of the time overseas in Australia, people talk about, generally people who hate Israel, will that's a talking point. They talk about the money that Israel funded Hamas. Are you talking about, would you have not wanted Israel to put the Qatari...
No, I would like Gaza to flourish. This is what people need to understand. I would like Gaza to flourish, but when Hamas is breaking, ceasefires and breaking every humanitarian law that there is in the world, breaking every mitzvah and every rule of 3 main religions, and holding deceased instead of bringing them back to burial and holding lives, they are the ones that are breaking the humanitarian laws of the world. And it's our right to fight for humanitarian. I would expect the world to stand near us, because we are fighting for humanitarian in the world. And this is what I can't understand outside of Israel. I feel that people that hate Israelis, they don't look at the facts. They don't look of who is guilty. They don't look at what we do and what the Hamas is still holding our families without bringing them home. And we just give and give and give.
Absolutely. So I guess I'm confused as to, so now you guys, you're protesting to end the war now. If they end the war now, won't Hamas still be in power?
We're standing here near the house of Bibi Netanyahu, our prime minister. He has the power. He has the power and the responsibility to make this situation end. Both of my husband and my son are in reserve fighting in Gaza while we speak. You understand? This is Israel. Israelis they're believing in the values, they're believing in the state of Israel, and they're giving whatever they can. So what I ask the government is to end this crazy situation.
How should they end it?
To sit down. We gained so much during those 2 years. We can now sit down and speak to Iran with Qatar help. We can sit with Hezbollah and Syria. And so I'm expecting the government to look at this entire international situation and to end this, not only just sending soldiers, but ending it, in political ways, and not just sending more and more soldiers into Gaza.
Do you think they should negotiate?
I feel that they can do that. I feel that they gained so many during those 2 years. I feel that in order to be a strong state, a state that stands behind its Jewish and Christian and Muslim values, and to be a light to the world. We need to end this, and we need to solve it in a different way than what we're doing now. Yes, this is what I think, and this is what I'm crying to the Prime Minister. Look at us, talk to us. I don't think that there was a Prime Minister in the history that, didn't, so many families that gave everything are standing near his house and he's not even coming out. It's crazy. The situation is crazy and we need to end it. We need to bring our soldiers home. We need to start working on agreements. The beginning of the agreements will be to bring the hostage, all the 48 hostages back home, to the proper barrier, to their families, and to solve everything.
Don't you need the agreement before you bring the soldiers home?
No,
So you want to bring everyone out? Why would Hamas agree then?
Listen, I don't know. Ask Hamas. Talk to Hamas. I'm sorry. I really want to end this. I must say that you're asking me questions. I'm a family. I gave my brother. I'm still, my son is serving. I'm a typical Israeli family that lives in Israel and do whatever he can and believes in Jewish values, whatever he can for the state. So the answers should be of my government and the people that are the leaders. I'm expecting for answers from the leaders. I'm expecting you to interview our leaders. And
we do interview
how
them.
can we end this?
We do interview them, and we do ask them, and they say that Hamas doesn't agree.
The right of bringing back the hostages is the most humanitarian law in the world.
They say they're trying. They say they're trying. You don't believe them?
Try harder. They need to try harder, and they need
to
finish it. For all of us, they need to finish it. For all of us. For everyone, for both sides, for everything. They need to finish it, and they need bring all the hostages back home. My brother that is there for 11 years needs to be home, and they need to finish it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope they bring him home.
Thank you very much. Listen,
I think
it's really hard to explain in English. It's like crazy.
No,
it's like
I understand.
If I would,
You did very well.
Speak in Hebrew, I can.
You did
confuse
very
so much
well.
better.
You did very well.
And you lose the words, and you're like, what did I want to say? So thank you.
So clearly, the police are, supporting, or what's the word I'm thinking of? Facilitating the protest. It's a peaceful protest, and you can sympathise with these people. I guess there doesn't seem to be a clear answer as to how it ends, because they seem to be asking for the same thing that Netanyahu has been saying to us, that basically Hamas can't stay in power and the hostages have to come home. Or maybe not even, some of them, I guess, are not so, they're not so clear about whether Hamas can stay in power or not, but all the hostages have to come home. And how does that happen? They don't seem to be able to explain a practical way. So to me, this seems like an emotional protest. All these people love Israel. This is not like the left in Australia. They are supporting Israel. They're not standing against Israel. They love Israel. In fact, she's saying she has family that's serving right now in Gaza. But they want an end to the war, but mostly it seems like they just want the hostages back. I really would like to hear from somebody that can explain to me how that would happen if you just left Gaza and you ended the war as they're demanding. It doesn't seem possible to me. I should do a cold open here. So guys, this is the behind the scenes of how we package a report. So you're going to see me do the intro. Tell me where you want me. You happy with that? How you doing? Australia. Put it in my back pocket. Are you going to see it? You won't see it. Doesn't matter. You ready? Avi Mini for Rebel News Avi Mini for Rebel News outside the Prime Minister's residence here in Jerusalem, where a protest has erupted, led by the families of hostages, some alive and others sadly passed. We're here today to find out, what are they really asking for? What are they demanding? Because when we see it in the mainstream media in Australia, it would seem that these guys agree with the anti-Israel mob that has taken over our streets. And I'm wondering, is that really true? That works. Should I do it again, or was that too much? Let's talk to some protesters, because I have to be much more gentle with... Yeah, you can't be... Like, I can understand. It's like so... It's emotional, so... Toda. All right, you ready? Back to my drink bottle. So I think they're being asked by the hostage families, because obviously they're working with the police who are facilitating it, as we've seen, but I believe the families are asking them to bring down the noise, because that's obviously the agreement they have with police. So I think it's probably going to be a lot more quiet now, I imagine. Or it looks like it might be ending.
מוזמנים לשאול לישון ב-9:30 יוגה עם שי דיקמן בראש הכרמל לזכר כרמל גת, ב-3 קבלת שבת פה עם קהילת נחל עוז, עם דני מירן, אבא של עמרי מירן, ובשבת קצת פה למעלה בכר פריס, עצרת גדולה, קריאה ארצית לכולם להגיע פה לירושלים, יותר משפחות, כולם מוזמנים להישאר פה, לישון פה, יש פה משהו שצריך לשנה, תישארו עם משפחות, תישארו איתנו פה, כולנו פה. תודה לכולם.
So they're wrapping up the protest and they're telling the attendees here, they're encouraging them to join them to sleep with the families of the hostages, to camp out here, and they'll be back tomorrow. It's quite a civil protest, so you don't see this in Australia, and it's certainly not like the anti-Israel protests in Australia. These people, they don't hate Israel. They have a political disagreement with the government. We'll try to talk to a couple of people here and see. That one? That one? The red one? Which one? Oh, what does it say? How you doing? Can we ask you about your sign?
Pardon?
Can we ask you about your sign?
Yeah?
So this is the demand here from everyone, we're understanding?
Yeah, one of the demands, yeah. Because
What are all the demands?
yeah, we need all the hostages here. And just if the war will stop, they will come back.
So you believe if Israel stops their offensive there, you think Hamas will just release the hostages?
Yeah, we need to make agreements. We need to sign agreements, yeah.
Is Hamas a good faith partner? Could Israel rely on an agreement with Hamas?
It's not just with Hamas. It should be international with America, with Europe, with Saudi Arabia, and all the. Yeah.
Can they stay in power? Do you believe that they should be allowed to stay in power if they release the hostages?
No, they won't will stay in power because there will be agreements, yeah, and agreements they need to not to rule the Gaza and not to rule the Palestinians. Should be different people that rule them, not this cruel one.
But why would Hamas agree to that? Would Hamas agree to that?
Yeah, I think so. If they want to stop the war, yeah, they want us to stop the war. If we will stop the war, they will release the hostages, and then they will have to find a way out or off the rule.
Because both sides seem to be asking the same thing. Both sides are saying to me, We want them to release all the hostages and that Hamas can't stay in power. What I don't understand is, if you stop the war, why would Hamas give up power?
Because the war with an agreements, and in the agreements, other countries like America and Europe and
Arabs.
they need to be responsible for this, not just Hamas or not just us. It should be international. This is the only solution. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Again, you getting more B-roll? Yeah. What is it? What more things? We'll do a couple more and then we'll wrap it up. It's, you know, this is a warm up to the...
You want to ask these young people here?
How you doing, guys? Do you speak English? Do you want to tell us why you're here? Do you speak English? No?
No, thank you.
I think he's the one we have to go for.
He got a lot of problems.
He's got a lot of problems, all right. Let me just see. I think we came at the right time to be able to have those conversations.
Yeah, it's wrapping up. I think it's wrapping up. Right?
Yeah, it's wrapping up here.
We spoke to him, didn't we?
Who?
About throwing this thing on the floor.
Yeah, I think
Last time we spoke to him.
yeah. Let's
The anti-guy, he's still here.
let's get a couple of people from the side here. I don't want to go in there. There's music. Do you want to see if let's go see if the anti-guy's still around. Shame that we didn't get him. No, I don't think he's here anymore. I reckon we can do let me do a... I think we've already got the part where I explain that.
Especially for the foreign press.
What does it say? Bring them home?
Yeah. כן.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, of course.
So everybody here seems to be demanding that they bring them home. Seem to think that some sort of agreement could come where Hamas wouldn't be in power. Is that generally right?
Yes, it's generally right. We believe that this war is not useful anymore. It's not helpful anymore, not for the Israelis and not for anybody else in this region. Unfortunately, our government, the Israeli government, prefers their own interests. They have ally of interests, whether it's the ultra-Orthodox, whether it's the religious Zionists, and whether it's Netanyahu and his party, the Likud. And this is the only reason that these wars continue, because it doesn't bring us security anymore. It doesn't eliminate Hamas. And the only way we can keep living here in this country, Israelis and also the Palestinians, is to agree to stop the war, to bring the hostages home, that Hamas wouldn't be part of the regime in Gaza anymore. This is what we're demanding, and we are here with the families, which is over there after the...
Yeah, we spoke to some of them, but what I'm unclear about, because nobody can seem to explain to me, is isn't that exactly what the government is saying they're demanding? That they've got to bring all the hostages back and they've got to lay down their arms. They can no longer rule Gaza. So What is different in your demands to the government's demands?
I think that this government is not honest, and they don't really want any agreement with Hamas. Even if Hamas will say, "Okay, we agree to that you'll take our weapons and we're not part of anything anymore," eventually.
Do you really believe Hamas would agree to that?
I don't think Hamas will give anything easily, okay? They are terrorists, they are fundamentalist Islamists. They're not good guys, okay? They're the worst. But in this time, the Israeli interest is to stop the war, okay? And this government is not interested in stopping the war because there's the part that wants to settle in Gaza, and nothing is good for them except of transferring all the citizens of Gaza to Egypt or something and building Israeli settlements over there. So I know that Netanyahu, he won't stop the war unless, I don't know, everyone in this country will go out to the streets and will demonstrate. So
I guess can two things be true at once, right? Put aside the people that want to resettle in Gaza. The government here has consistently from the beginning said two demands. If you agree to them, we will end the war. This was on early October. Release all the hostages and lay down your arms. Hamas has never agreed to that. So why would they agree to it now?
I think that 2 years ago we were always more naive, and we had expectations that in some point Hamas would say, okay, you pressed us so hard, so we surrender and take the hostages, take the weapons. It's not a situation, and I understand that Hamas, they're willing to, we kill as more citizens as we can in Gaza. This is good for them, okay? This is their interest because they don't care about the Gazan citizens. They don't care about their own people. They want them dead because because they're fundamentalists, they're Islamists, they're jihadists.
Everyone agrees on that point. What I'm just unclear on is how do you practically go from here to ending the war if you say the end goal is to bring all the hostages back, plus Hamas can't be controlling Gaza anymore. I can't see how that is possible because Hamas just won't agree to that, which is what the government says, which is why they're saying they have to push forward.
Hamas, this negotiation is not easy. I know it's not simple, but I don't trust this government because I know they don't interest in ending this war, and we need to end this war. This is the first demand of because Hamas will not say, okay, take the hostages and we won't stop the war, because they know that if they do that, we'll destroy them. So we got to the situation that we need to end the war because we need this for our society. We need this for our own heal and for the families. And this is a long struggle. Okay, I know that in a quick war we can't destroy them. Even if we want to say, okay, no matter the hostages, it won't be so easy. So I think this is time to stop, to say, okay, you take the prisoners, we take the hostages, we stop the war. And I know that we might, in 2-3 years, return to a conflict. But I think that the best thing for Israel is to accept these conditions right now.
So you're accepting Hamas will still be in control and that you'll have to fight them again another day?
I tell you, Hamas already said that they accept the condition that they will not be part of the regime in Gaza, but they will not give their weapons. It's complicated. Okay.
Do you believe Hamas?
I don't believe Hamas. I believe.
Do you believe him more than Benjamin Netanyahu?
I believe that if the Israeli government will truly go to a negotiation, they can get some of the conditions, and eventually, as part of negotiation, we'll have to give something back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Where are you from?
Australia.
Australia, right.
All right. I reckon just I got to do a bumper. Come from here. There you have it. It seems like both sides want the same thing. One side just doesn't like the current government, doesn't trust them. The other side says they just have to fight on to win. Personally, I haven't heard a real rational explanation as to how you achieve the outcome of releasing all the hostages and getting Hamas to put down their arms without fighting on. This seems like an emotional... Well, I'm going to do it again because it's just a bumper. Sorry, guys. This is the back end of behind the scenes. Well, if you think it's important for the world to see what the anti-Netanyahu protests are really about, unlike what the mainstream media in Australia present them as, make sure to like, comment and share it far and wide. Because the thing is, if you actually speak to them, they essentially say they want the same thing as the pro-Netanyahu people, the pro-government, the pro-Israel people. They just think somehow if Israel withdraws now, Hamas is going to lay down their arms and release all the hostages. I think that that's naive and an emotional argument, but it's certainly not the way these people are presented in Australia. So it's up to you guys to share it far and wide. And if you support our mission here in Israel, showing the other side of the story on both sides, go to israeluncut.com and please help support our work here by chipping in to cover some of the costs. israeluncut.com. We cannot do it without you. I think that's the end.
Turn it off. Thanks for all.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and make sure to share it and be sure to hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you get, we're going to go to other protests, much bigger protests in Tel Aviv that we will follow on Saturday night.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.